This is recording 883. The name of this podcast is Listen Next 883. It is a part of my podcast series, Speaking to the CIA. You can find me at speakingtothecia.com or ChristinaStation918.com. Or you can put in Speaking to the CIA podcast in Google by Christina Station or Christina Station 918. Okay, so I'm going to continue on here. So when I was leaving off with the red, black, and white, I got all off track as usual. There's just so much to say. I'm 900 recordings in. You know what I did? I just left and went to the store and came back. And I got a Monster to keep myself awake so I can get these podcasts done. And I'm laughing to myself because it's Friday night. And here I am. I'm living wild, living dangerously, buying a Monster at night. But anyway, so what I was going to point out also about the red, black, and white is playing cards, a deck of cards, how they're red, black, and white. I wanted to point that out also and see all cards, ciphers, how decode. Okay. So, let's go back to 1983. Okay? When I was in junior high. Okay, I was either in 7th grade, the end of 7th grade, the beginning of 8th grade. I don't remember. It was 7th. It's either the end of 7th grade or the beginning of 8th grade. But anyway, I was little. I told you Gene had planned to assault me again, this time using ice, okay? Which is different than when she assaulted me hands-on, where it's literally on film, her in my apartment, in my mom's apartment, my mom and my dad's apartment, assaulting me with a pencil. And then I was told she also assaulted me with a wooden spoon, and I know she assaulted me with a wooden spoon because they decode it all the time, and just as much as I decode pencil. And I could see her, because they played the video footage in my brain, I could literally see her assaulting me with the pencil. I was a baby. I was on the changing table. Okay? So this is using her artificial intelligence or stolen technology. It's a way for her to run her child abuse rings, okay, abuse kids, and then make it look like you're not involved when you're the one that's doing it, and nobody knows any better because nobody knows what's going on. So then she abuses me, and then she tells lies about it later and uses that as her excuse to doing the World Trade Center attack. That there was just sudden outrage and outlash, and then that's why 9/11 happened. This is what her excuse is, okay? This is the line of crap she has fed people, okay? She pre-planned to crash the World Trade Center in the late 30s. Okay, I decoded it, so I know it goes all the way back to the late 30s. Now, okay, so anyway, so let me go over this. Okay, so she runs a baseball sex trafficking Ponzi. She's run it before I was even born, as I've told you in previous podcasts, and she trafficked me in this. She was going to make big money on this, okay? Big, huge money. Like, she pre-planned it. The Last Supper, she'd all getting all her preparations, getting all in. And then she's like, ooh, I'm going to make some money. I'll be rich the rest of my life. Just raping and selling little ass fucking kids. And get away with all of it. You know her husband is literally Jeffrey Epstein, one of her husbands. I decoded it. On her I Love Me Some Drum Major wine bottle. That's out on my dad's wet bar. She is nasty. I've decoded so much of her crimes. Anyway, so one of the ways that she used to traffic me to advertise is what she still does today. She uses food. You're going to see all my podcasts on food. She uses food. She uses the agriculture industry. That's how she sells and advertises that she has for sale babies and children. Okay, she uses colors and she uses food, and she's always been that way. Now, modern day, what she's done, okay, to try to get away with doing the same old damn thing, is use the same colors that she used to sell children and babies with, and use that as a means to act like she's now their savior, and she's just a child abuse advocate. She's just going to save them and protect them, and she's going to use those colors. Those are going to be the special colors. No, you're covering it up with the fake Save a Child con because you're a goddamn child abuser, and you found a new way to do your same old damn thing. Because what person in their right mind would allow a child abuser to run a Save a Child campaign? Okay, first of all. Second of all, even if you didn't know that the person leading it was a child abuser, how can you be leading a campaign on Save the Children and not know that children were trafficked and still are trafficked using certain foods and certain colors, and then your dumbass decides to use those same colors and same foods to act like you're saving children? What dumbass said that was the idea? What dumbass said that's okay? Because if you said that was okay, then you're either a you-know-what also, just like Jean, or you're a dumbass. Because there's no way you could be that stupid. There's no way you could be that stupid. If you're going to head up something that you've stolen money and lives to try to run, and you can't say you didn't know. I mean, it is the con. It is the con. Anyway, okay, so she used ice cream. Okay, like I told you in my previous podcast, I don't live in my childhood. I don't live in my childhood trauma. I don't live in any of that. I live my regular ass life. I'm a regular ass person. I just happen to be stalked by the leader of Charles Manson, who wants me to shut up and not turn her in for doing the World Trade Center attack. And I happen to love my family. I do not sell them. I don't let them be used as somebody's fishing lure, like some parents do to their kids, and like some people do to other people's kids. I love my children. I love my grandchildren. I do not like being stalked. I do not like my children being stalked. I do not want to be stalked. And I definitely don't want to be stalked by somebody who stalked me all of my life and should be sitting in prison. Actually, you should be executed, Jean, and that's what I'm seeking. You to be executed. Who also did the World Trade Center attack in Oklahoma City bombing. I mean, who in their right mind has not already went and turned in these people? No one. If you know what's going on, you've definitely turned them in. Either you've gone, either you've said, I'm not involved, over my head, don't want to deal with it, let somebody else deal with it, which is a good response. Because no action is better than bad action. Okay? So, and then good action would be going and verifying and fact-checking and talking to people that you trust in the community, and talking to military and talking to intelligence and talking to law enforcement, and not talking to people posing as people or any cutesy-fartsy fucking shit that gets in your fucking way. Like going and talking to actually people with actual licenses to bear arms that work in law enforcement or military or intelligence. Go talk to those guys. Go fact check, and then you go press charges. You go take action to stop domestic international terrorists. I hate to use the word international terrorist because I'm referring to an American white supremacist, Satanist terrorist from Milton, Florida, a Caucasian female who's nearly 80 years old. And even saying international terrorist gives the connotation that that's not who I'm talking about. But She is an international terrorist. She commits terrorism here in the United States, and she commits terrorism around the world. So bad action would be helping Jean keep it going. That's bad. So anyway, okay, so ice cream. So you're going to see on my podcast on ice cream and trafficking with food and trafficking with colors, okay? So anyway, ice cream trafficking, I couldn't believe this. Like, she literally knows that she's trafficking me. She knows that she's not just merely just pimping me. She knows she's trafficking me. Which means she's trafficking a lot of people, which means she thought she was going to bust a human trafficking network by keeping it going in the future, present day. No, you're not, Jean. You're a child abuser. You're going to go to jail. Anyway, the initials ice cream trafficking, ICT, so ticker is in that. So another thing I wanted to point out with ticker is, another name for ticker is your heart. So that goes to her heart part of the theme of the ciphers, her planning to do the World Trade Center attack, the love part of the theme. And ticker is also how the late theme Alice in Wonderland, okay? So we're on limited time here. Okay, I keep telling you we're in Revelations. I keep telling you that. And I know people aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not telling people to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I can't even be anywhere near as perfect as I want to be because my life is such a mess and it is so stalked and so controlled by Jean Roberts and her Manson occult. I am trying to do everything I can every day to get my life together and turn her in, so I can have the rest of my life that I have. I'm 54 now, with my children and grandchildren in peace and in happiness. And nothing is going to stop me from turning her in. Anyway, so ticker, okay, so when 9/11 happened, remember how the news feed went across the bottom of the screen? Like the updates, when the ticker feed went across the bottom of the screen? That was when they first started putting tickers on the news all the time. Was during the World Trade Center attack. We didn't have those at the bottom of the screen unless it was extreme emergencies. Now on the news channels they run 24/7. So they started from the World Trade Center attack. That's called a ticker also. And then you also have ticker tape. I don't know what that is, but somebody just said that in my brain. Okay, so if you go along with Jean's lies, this is how the rest of the world, I mean, you're like, you don't know what's going on. You think you know what's going on in regards to who did 9/11, okay? You think you know what's going on. And then you get told it's the Illuminati. You get told it's the military. You get told all these different things, okay? So you don't think anybody's being up and up about the World Trade Center attack. And if you're in intelligence, which this is who this podcast is for the CIA. I mean, you obviously know yourselves that everything didn't make sense. I mean, I know you guys already know that, but anyway, I can only imagine like the rest of the world going, people are stupid. Do you hear what that lady Jean Roberts and her Manson occult / Ku Klux Klan, do you hear the lie excuse that they give as to why the World Trade Center attack happened and the money they take out of people's hands? And she has shystered people out of money. So let me tell you how stupid people probably think Americans are. So if you went by her lies, so all of a sudden, Zeus himself broke through the sky with lightning bolts and just suddenly zapped a whole bunch of people, and they all of a sudden knew in a moment's flash Upon Jean finding out somehow, some way, that something happened to someone else that she has no relation to, and then she suddenly finds out, and then all these people suddenly find out, and then all of a sudden, in that moment, and not in that flash, in that time, in that second time span, they knew how to crash 2 steel skyscrapers. And they decided at that second they were going to crash them, and they knew how to do it. And it was all going to sync up to right at that moment, to 1983. 8 plus 3 is 11. That's what the story is that Jean feeds people. You can tell Jean is lying. She pre-planned to do the World Trade Center attack before I was born. She pre-planned to assault me as a con to cover it up. Even this. Remember the episode of my podcast where I'm talking about freezer burn? What she did there, it'll make you so mad. It'll make you so mad. Even what she did this. The ice cream. Frozen ice cream. Okay? And then burning. The tower's burning. I mean, she pre-planned everything and thinks she got away with all of it. She has stolen so much money from people. And she walks around like she's just... She acts like she literally says in my brain that she owns me. No, she doesn't. She's fed people lines that I'm in some kind of program. No, I'm not. I live in Oxford. I'm not involved in any programs. She has fed people so much lines, so much crap. She has taken so much money. So that's a stupidity of Americans not even stopping to think about. That doesn't even make sense. That's not even possible. But you know that probably wouldn't make sense to women, because women don't stop and think, especially if she knows if she's skilled at manipulating people by their emotions and keeps them so wrapped up in emotion that they're acting in emotions. They're not cognitively, logically thinking. But you know that guys out there have to be like, that lady is lying. She abused Christine. I bet she did it. And then find out that's exactly what she did. And she did the World Trade Center attack. She iced the pilots. So anyway, okay, so there's more to this whole thing with the ice cream, okay? So you know that phrase, okay, so remember I told you she uses nursery rhymes and everything, and Aesop's fables, fairy tales, and everything else. I've decoded tons of it, tons and tons and tons of it, okay? And she brags about committing terrorism, she brags about diseases, there's stuff hidden in it from the past, okay? But I'm talking about, she hides in this future terrorism, including bioterrorism, including cyber terrorism, okay? So anyway, what she used with the ice cream is the little song that everybody in the world knows. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Okay, so if you look at the initials of that, you have I, the letter I scream, and then you scream, the letter U, and then we scream, you have the letter W, okay? And then also note E is V, so you have WV, so that's Barker Ranch, it's Charles Manson. She loves to use the word we if you've talked to her very much. We this and we that. And then she also does a they, which is the opposite of her saying we, which she really means we. But she's trying to project out and tell a lie, and so she uses they. You see as she goes, she has to reverse the they. What did you want to say about yourself, Jean? What are you and your people up to? And don't include Christine in your crap. She's the one telling on you. She is not a you in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, so... Okay, so I scream, you scream, we all scream. So I-U-W. Okay, so not only the screaming, Okay, but if you say scream, you hear the sound of an X, like in WXYZ, the X sound, like exit, ice cream. There's an X in there. You have CL code exit. I decoded that cipher too. Where Gene Roberts Manson ciphers, where she planned to do the World Trade Center attack. This specific part of the cipher set, she tried hard to blame on people that didn't do it at all. Had nothing to do with it. They actually were on when I was solving it. Actually helped me solve it, and then she got pissed off at him and decided she was going to blame him. And then I think she actually convinced other people. She's told so many goddamn lies, it's insane. Anyway, no, it was her and her Manson occult / Ku Klux Klan. So there's an X in it, and then ice cream. Okay, so the S is a Z. And that also IZOD, CL code IZOD, in my podcast. Okay, and my podcast, Christina Marie Stacia, my podcast. See, IZOD. Okay, so the Z is in it. So you have W, X, Y, and Z. Now, in this more, you have the I. The I is RE. Okay, and an I is 2 dots. Remember I told you it's a snake bite, okay? It's Morse code. It's dot, dot. It looks like a colon. Okay? So it's dot, and then it's dot XYZ. So she's saying, I'm going to run this racket, I'm going to commit this crime, and then I'm going to cinch it up and get away with it. So WXYZ and the N, I'm out. I got away with all of it. That's what she's doing with that. Okay? So, anyway, that's enough. Now, I still have even more. Okay? So, the I's, okay? So, the RE, okay, for ice cream, okay, 4 is FOR, right? 4 is also the number 4. Okay, so she's using the number 4 there. So the number 4, 2 times 2 is 4. So she's using a 22 there. Okay, she's using a 2 and a 2. Okay, so it's 2 sets of snake eyes. So it's 4 dots. Okay, so all right, so hold on to that for a second, and then let me talk about this a little bit more, and then go back to this. Okay, so also she's running a baseball sex trafficking Ponzi. Okay, so you put in, which I've already talked about this in my previous podcast, how she was trying to control what the goings on in the White House and the military using ICE. Okay, so she came up with the name, and I know everybody hates hearing this, but I mean, we've all been like, I'm being stalked by Gene Daly. So I would love it if you guys would just arrest her. But anyway, so she came up with the name using George Bush. Okay, George Bush didn't come up with it. He's advised this, and then he rolls it out with the new intelligence unit for domestic terrorism called Homeland Security. Okay, so she's running a baseball sex trafficking Ponzi, and she's using home plate. Home is in Homeland. She's using that on Homeland Security. I'm like, oh my God. That's why I was cussing in the last podcast. I was like, you are sick. And you know who heads up Homeland Security right now is Kristi Noem. She looks like a supermodel. She's an amazing woman. I've listened to her talk a couple times on Fox. And people that are talking through my voice, like right now while I'm trying to talk, they're eager to, like, grape and fan her. She doesn't seem like the type of person that likes to be grape and fan. Anyway, that is horrible. That is horrible. I mean, Gene Roberts and her Manson occult / KKK needs to be arrested. That is horrible. That's Horrible, horrible, horrible. Anyway, so the plate, okay, so you know what a home plate looks like? Okay, so Linda Casa Bien and Charles Manson, so it looks like a house, Casa. So she's using that too, okay? And then also America's pastime, baseball is America's pastime. Hot dogs. What is the other thing that they have at baseball? Hot dogs, apple pie, isn't that America's thing too? I don't know what they sell there at baseball games. I don't know. But anyway, so okay, so Charles Manson, so you got Linda Casa Bien in there. Okay. So then also Casa Bien, so Bien, okay, I know that means good in Spanish, but if you look at the letters, it transposes into the word plain. So she's also using plate as pentagon because it kind of looks like a pentagon. So you know she used that too. So that's how she used the home plate. And then Pontius Pilate. And then you see all code there. Okay. So now, okay. So back to the 2x2. Okay. So the 2x2, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. So then there's 4 planes down. So you can tell in just the ice cream alone, she's planning to crash 4 planes into buildings. One of them was thwarted. It crashed into the Pennsylvania. It crashed into the ground in Pennsylvania, which she pre-planned it to crash to the ground in Pennsylvania. That's all pre-planned. Shanksville, all that's pre-planned. Okay, so also, you can see in this, if it's like 2 pairs, okay, it's 2 pairs of eyes, okay, she's bragging about icing the pilots. So, the top 2 are blamed in ice, so she's bragging about it there, and she's also bragging about icing 4 pilots, okay, and then they're the 4 of the extra pins or points or whatever, those are pin pricks, okay? Now, those are also snake eyes, as you know, like a 1 on dice. A snake eyes is like 2 1s on dice. Okay, so pair of dice, paradise. So a pair of snake eyes is a paradise, paradise. And then also note there's a Paradise Valley, Arizona. Okay, and then also in this with the pinprick. Okay, so my mom and Rick. Remember I told you my mom was seeing a guy named Rick. And it was after she split up from my dad. This was in the late 70s. I don't know if she was seeing him or not. I thought I was little. I was like 3 or 4 years old. I just thought they were friends. Okay, but I guess they were seeing each other. I don't know. I don't even care. Okay, so he had a big farm and we went out on his farm. Okay, so Rick is a point of upsetness. Okay, but not anymore. People were getting lied to and manipulated, and then it was bringing up old crap that just doesn't even need to be there, which is all amusing because today everybody's dealing with Gene Roberts stalking the hell out of all of them. I tell my family, you're being stalked. My dad's freaking psycho, freaking bimbo blonde girlfriend is a Satanist. She's been stalking us all of our lives. She's the leader of Charles Manson. She is deranged. Grandma Stacia hates her. She told me many times when I lived in Slidell, something is wrong with that woman, Christina. She calls me Nina. That's my childhood nickname. She's bad. She's not a good person. She's doing something to your dad. Your dad doesn't act right after he's at her house at the weekend. Something's wrong. Because she could tell when her son's off, which is adorable. And I'm like, okay, Grandma, okay. which I don't discount her or disbelieve her. I just have to pay attention to everything. And I'm in the middle of decoding everything. I don't know that it's Jean yet behind all this, sucking the heck out of all of us. And she plays the victim in real life just as much as she does in her trying to get out of everything present day. Okay? That's how she does it personally. I don't know why everybody hates me. I don't know. I mean, give it a rest. You're busted. Anyway, so then I find out after decoding and then after moving from Slidell and then knowing firmly is Gene Roberts and her Manson occult / Ku Klux Klan. And how in the heck am I going to tell my dad, who's a Marine colonel, that his girlfriend is freaking psycho? I'm going to look psycho trying to tell him that. I'll just avoid him and go right to the CIA. But he deserves to be warned and told, because he's my dad. That'd be un-American to not tell a Marine that there's someone near him that's a terrorist. So, anyway, I let him know. He knows. He knows I have a podcast. He knows I've pressed charges. He deals with things how he needs to deal with things on his end. There's no communication. And I just make reports against her continually until she's arrested. And I make hella fun of her on here, too, on my podcast. Which is my pastime. I freaking love it. I love to make fun of her. She's a horrible, horrible, horrible person. Anyway, my Aunt Terry can't stand her. My Aunt Linda, who passed away, I know she took her life. I know she poisoned her. Okay, her husband, my Uncle Mark, his girlfriend, his present significant other, they might be married now, she can't stand her. Nobody can stand her. Gene Roberts. But yet she's loved and worshipped and adored here in Tulsa. Not everybody in Tulsa worships her, but there's a lot of people that'll lie like a MFer for Gene Jernigan Roberts. It's insane. She is sick. Anyway, so back in the early 70s, so there's a guy named Rick, and he had a farm. He lived out in Chandler, Tempe, and I went out to his farm with my mom when I was really little. I was like 3 or 4 years old. I was really, really little, and she would go out to go see him. Okay, so Rick, so you're going to see all the code and ciphers around Rick, okay? So I think Rick is also a thing of wood, too. Okay, so Rick and then Prick. Okay, so then also in Prick is PRIRIP, so that goes to all RIP code, and then obviously water, and then ripples, and then World Trade Center. There's stuff going on there. I can only go back as far as I know, then it would have to be my parents figuring out more, but it's all going to come out the same. Gene has been stalking all of us. Just like I know she took my dad's best friend's life, Skip. Okay. So, anyway, all right, so where am I at? I'm at 33. Okay, so I'm gonna, oh boy, I got a lot more to go. Okay, but not too much a lot, but I do have a lot to go. Let me end this one, and then I'm gonna start another one.